Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish podcast. I'm your host, Raj Anderson, executive life coach and assessor, and I am excited to be here again with John Andrew Williams, founder of Coach Training EDU. And you just caught the beginning of something I would say really magical. You know, John was just sharing about acknowledgement of where he's at and appreciation, and I want us to be able to capture and harness that, John. What else would you share about celebration today?
Well, I think that thank you, Raj. And I know, so today's been a lot. So we've been, we had our all trainer meeting, which is that always gets me psyched up. And we've just been knocking out, like the admin team has really been knocking out, like, challenge after challenge, in terms of, just the logistics on the back end and, all of it working with all the websites. But the big thing, we just got, accreditations. We're talking like, through level 2 ICF, we got the health board. We are working, there's still some movement on the other ones too. But the big thing is we got through step 2 of 3 through Apple's developer program for our app, which we're calling Coach Theory. Which is it's a coach client marketplace app. So the idea is it works like Lyft, where you put in how many minutes you want to be coached, how much money you want to spend for that coach, and then a message is sent out to all of the coaches at that level or higher, and whoever gets there first gets that coaching set. Like whoever gets whatever coach says yes first, they get matched up with that client. So the idea is that it's an anti-bias coach client match system that emphasizes real time. The value proposition is getting coached in real time is more valuable than looking at pictures of coaches and picking people to coach you based on their pictures. And it's an anti-bias system because it doesn't matter what your coach looks like. It only matters the experience level of your coach and the fit between you and your coach. So it's an idea of, my hope is that people will work with a number of coaches and be surprised at what it's like to work with people and who are very different from themselves. And that's going to be amazing. So it's going to also let us bring bring coaching to populations and places that normally don't have access to coaching. So for instance, let's say a university wants to have a certain silo of coaches that they've approved. They can have their students work with this body of coaches in a very efficient way. So students can get coached exactly when they need it by coaches that the university trusts or perhaps have trained or has on staff or has contracted or those kinds of things. So this is going to be live. We have a link, so it's there. We're not sharing it yet a lot, but I'm guessing 2 or 3 more weeks, like by mid-April. I think it's going to be officially out there live where anyone can download it.
This is so exciting. Congratulations to Coach Training EDU and to you, John. I heard you say right at the beginning, this is a dream.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It was yesterday. So I was driving from Portland back to Hood River, and there's a Marquand Bridge which goes over there. And I used to drive on that bridge when we lived in Portland when working with clients. So I'd go south about a half hour, meet with a bunch of clients, go over the Marquand Bridge. And I remember always listening to my vision recordings of where I wanted to be in my life, just to remind myself. I listened to them going both to and after client sessions. And the feeling of, let's say working with 3 or 4 back-to-back sessions in a row, and then going over that bridge, listening to the hopes and dreams that I had, that bridge to me symbolizes so much. And going over it yesterday, I just felt knowing that the app was actually going to happen, and just envisioning the thousands of coaching sessions that are going to happen because of this app. It's a lot. I feel like I had to breathe through it and say, what, all this hard work, all of these things, it's dreaming plus doing. It's both, being able to do both that's where I'm at. And so, I mean, it might be worthless for me to be on this place.
No.
I feel like I'm all over the place. I really, truly am. Like, it's a lot. And all of it is just like, oh, so I'm feeling it. I'm in it. I'm in it. Yeah.
This is magical. I just, as you said that, that's the Walt Disney quote, isn't it? Everyone knows I'm a Disney fan. If you can dream it, you can do it. And you just shared that right there.
Yeah, it's so many turns. Are we doing it? I mean, is it going to go? You know, is this going to work? Is this something that, I mean, is it just, am I just deceiving myself thinking, oh no, there's this like happy, like thing that's going to happen? Or is it really leadership? Is it like, yeah, this is the vision, let's actually go for it. That feels there's that book by the Arminger Institute, Leadership and Self-Deception. This feels like in that space very much. I'm asking myself, is this real, not real? I mean, there's still challenges, there's still things that we got to do, but I feel like the skill that I feel like I'm leaning into most is perseverance. This idea of if we're persisting, we're still winning. Like if you're persisting, you're winning. And a lot of people when they establish a coaching practice, when they start to establish a coaching practice, and I was there too, there's so many unknowns, there's so much fear and doubt and uncertainty where you just go, I don't even know if this is going to work or not. But let me just try something. It's the let me try something. It's that continual let me try something that I feel like eventually turns into, okay, I did something, or okay, like this is how this is going to work. But it's almost like, do or do not, like there's no try. It's like, no, keep trying until you do. Like, like that's what Yoda should have said. It's like, just keep trying until the do happens. And yeah, so maybe that's what Yoda means, right? Just keep, there's no try. Gosh.
It's funny, I was talking about Yoda to somebody else yesterday. What words of wisdom do you have, John, for those who might be feeling disheartened or they're not seeing the kind of fruits of their labor?
I've been there. I mean, I've been there maybe just like, 2 weeks ago. I think because it was hard. It's just so unknown. You don't know. I mean, it could be like Apple could have came back and said, look, you got to do this. It's still 3 months away. Like that's what we were playing with. That's the idea. We still could be there. When I look at myself from a bird's eye view, I feel like there's a couple things that I've been incessant with. And one of the things that I've been incessant with is this adherence to, I truly believe in the field of coaching. And I truly believe that the field of coaching is going to make an impact and a difference in this world. And having found something like that I truly believe in, it takes the pressure off of the results and puts the pressure instead on the habits that I have. And so I think when I'm feeling like in that space of, okay, I'm feeling uncertainty, I'm feeling the doubt, I'm feeling the fear. If I go into, let me look at the current circumstances, that usually heightens those things. That can make it even more challenging sometimes. So instead, I've really been incessant with adhering to that vision of, okay, this is where I'm going. And I'm using the feedback as information. How can I manage my habit set? And that's the key question. Like, how can you manage your habit set? We were in a hiring cycle for a new salesperson to join the team. And one of them, he said something like, a lot of salespeople, they get caught up in their results when they really need to be focused in on their habits. Like they get caught up in their habits. And that's so true. And I feel like that's where you can go. You can ask yourself, okay, am I developing the habits I need to do in order to be successful? Yes or no? That's where your security is. That's where your shelter can be. You can take shelter in that. And if you don't have great habits, then seek out support to develop them. But at least you're doing something that you can completely control. And that's the space that I think most people, that's the space I want to play in. And that's the space that I see when people start, you start to get it, like a sense of like when you're working with someone that's a client, like, oh, like, yeah, this person has that success, like kind of vibe going on. It's cultivated. I have one more thing I want to share too. So I was in a car with my daughter, and we were talking about writing and all this kind of stuff, and it was lovely. And we both have been like really productive in the last couple of weeks. And she said something about writing, and it came like, you know, a lot of people want to write, right? But are people who want to write, are they willing to cultivate a writing life? Like, are you willing to cultivate are you willing to cultivate, yeah, people want, you know, coaching practice. They want to work independently with clients, but are you willing to cultivate an entrepreneurship, independent kind of life that is open to developing that practice? Because I mean, everyone wants to write, but who really wants to develop a lifestyle of a writer, which means no, you have to have guardrails of at least 2 hours a day, every single day. Like that's a writer's life. Are you willing to do that? So it's like, it's reframing. It's like really asking yourself the question, you know, not can I get what I'm after, but can I develop the lifestyle, the habit sets to make that thing happen? It seems subtle and obvious once it's said, but I've been really playing with that the last couple of days, you know, last day, really, this idea.
What habits should coaches be looking to cultivate?
I think the number, I think part of it is really finding ways to, one of the biggest habits I think is finding ways to stay focused, like limiting distraction, I feel like is huge. That, you know, really finding, like when people are stressed out, like having a really tight loop so that you aren't like going down another rabbit, like your distraction doesn't also open up another rabbit hole. That to me feels like the key, you know. Like for me, I allow myself to stare out the window now. Like that's what I do.
You got your binoculars.
I'm out there. I mean, that is an allowable, you know what I mean? That's an allowable distraction, you know, during work time. But I mean, to be so disciplined on it, I feel like I mean, our attention and care, there's a certain discipline that's required. Yeah. I've also been playing with hourglasses lately too. Like, so yeah, I have this one here. It's a 30-minute hourglass. So that's like and then there's this other one here. That's the 5 minutes. So the 30 minutes, the warm up, you know, so I flip it over. I have 30 minutes warm up where I only allow myself to write or stare out the window for 30 minutes. And if I have an idea that is distracting, I write it down on only a sticky note, not a notebook, but a sticky note, because the idea has to be able to fit on this for me to come back to it later. And it doesn't allow me to go to rabbit hole to like go, oh, like, let me work on the pricing page or schedule page again. Like, you know, no, it's just, I write it on here and then I go back to writing what I'm doing. Yeah. So I've been playing with that the last couple of weeks.
That's really cool. So it's like having systems to help you form those habits, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's almost like an incessant obsession with how can I create systems that actually work? Like, you know that your system's working when you want to use it. Like that hourglass, I'm like, yes, like give me the hour, like because it's such a cool visual representation too of time passing. Like you see the sand, like literally, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. Like I'm actually writing right now. The sand is coming down and then the 30 minutes is over and I have a choice to flip it and keep going, or I have accomplished what I needed to do. And then I can make a new choice from there.
It reminds me of the Pomodoro effect, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
you can get one of those, you can get an hourglass. That's
exactly.
really cool.
Yep.
What common distractions that get in the way for people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that comes to mind that I've been avoiding is the endless scroll. Like anything that has an endless scroll aspect to it, I will go through different time periods where I avoid them completely, like cleanse completely, but it's not sustainable because I do have to communicate with other humans, social media at some point in time. But I'll just take breaks from it for a while, and then that to me seems like the big one. We talk a lot about it as a family too, like to be mindful of the endless scroll, like to have guardrails too around when you do it. It's just guardrails, yeah, that's how it works. Like, I mean, yours, like, you keep the technology out of the phone, out of the certain rooms, right? Like, that's a guardrail. We need them.
Yeah. I took all apps off my phone as well. Social media apps, not on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I only have LinkedIn really. There's a few others, but that I don't manage them personally. And if I'm going to go on LinkedIn, I actually have to go onto my computer, and it's limited. So there are some parameters there. And I'm hearing you, John, talk about mindfulness, staring out the window, you're looking at those hawks. I think mindfulness sometimes can be underestimated by people, or they think mindfulness is about sitting silently in a room or meditating. Yeah, I have mindfulness moments when I'm washing the dishes, just calm.
Yeah.
How would you speak to that?
Yeah. It's funny. I don't feel like I'm doing it. Like, when I look out the window for a bit, I don't think I'm doing it thinking, okay, I have to check in. Like, I'm not exactly conscious of that, but that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, it's a way of, like, a reset. It's a way of allowing whatever thoughts need to settle versus trying to add more thoughts into, like, it's like, so let's say that the idea is to work out, like, process whatever needs to be processed by, like, just sitting, looking out a window or whatever. All the current thoughts have to settle down like sand in water and just sort of settle. The water separates, there's more clarity. When I try to distract myself through adding more in to, like, you just push the sand away. It's literally like trying to add more sand into the bucket, into the swirl. And yeah, you'll push the sand down, but you're also spilling water all over the place. And you just have more ideas, more stuff to have to process. So it feels like, yeah, like I've escaped those ideas for a period of time, but then I've added tons more ones, and those ones weren't really processed yet. So it's like the processor's overwhelmed. And in computer science terms, this term is called thrashing. It's like the computer is doing all the work of context switching from one app to the next. Like, okay, like, let me gather all the resources so I can actually do some algorithms and make some computations. But the computer can't get to that real work because they're spending all of its time just just context switching. Like, okay, like I'm going from thing to thing to thing to thing, but I'm not really actually doing any work. I feel like a lot of people are in that space. Like, in especially when you're in entrepreneurship, the idea is, I don't even know what I need to do. I need to do 12 things all at once. So how do you handle that? You got to have it. I mean, for me, like, I had to have a sense of, like, going back to the, like, real circle, like really finding, okay, so this is the vision, this is the dream, this is the work that needs to happen. Let me just do one thing and let the 11 other things be there for a bit. I feel like there's definitely a capacity for it's almost like a capacity, it's a tolerance. There has to be a tolerance for things not being perfect.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And knowing, like, yeah, it's not perfect. There's probably a typo in one of our textbooks.
It's complete. It's done though.
And we could have comments and let us know where they are, right? Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's a tolerance. You have to be able to build a tolerance for things not being perfect, comments happening, whatever, like, negative feedback, whatever you get. But knowing that, yeah, okay, like, we're going to get there. Thank you for that feedback. We're working on it. We'll get there. It's the, we'll get there. It's the, yeah, we're trying until it's done. It's that feeling.
And I'm hearing essential qualities, essential coaching qualities right there in practice. You're talking about being courageous, and trusting self and trusting the process. And what was really beautiful, I heard you share, John, is just as coaches, we hold space for our clients and our coachees. You're talking about holding space for yourself too.
I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah, I love that. That's fun. For sure.
Yeah, holding space for self. We gift it to our clients and we gift it for other people. And that's what we training coaches to do, aren't we?
Cool. I like that. Oh, I love that analogy. That's so cool. Yeah, it's like that, almost exactly. Like it's like the ability, it's almost like having silence in conversation, right? We talk about silence between, a coaching question and then like letting the client answer. It's almost like you're allowing a pause in like we just stare out a window, you're just allowing a pause. Like it's almost like you give yourself that same gift of silence to process whatever needs to be processed. That's so cool. I love it.
And we're on time, John. And I would love to keep chatting. We'll probably have John again next week so we can build off of this. And we've got some themes around health and wellness, which I think will dovetail to this perfectly next week. Yeah. What message would you close us out with today, John?
Yeah, and just gratitude. Thank you, Raj. Like I know that I came in like where it like it's emotional. It really is. It feels like it's so much work, and it just feels like when it comes together, it really has. And yeah, it's I'm just breathing. I'm just reminding myself to breathe. Like it really can be this amazing. And that doesn't minimize the work, that doesn't like all the doom and gloom, like it's present, it can be there. And yeah, there's still a ton of work that we need to do, but I'm really, really stepping into this celebration of, yeah, we got a big milestone, and I'm taking it. Yeah, so thank you. And thanks for listening to me, like all of it. Thank you, Raj. You're amazing.
Thank you, John. And we're grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're grateful for you. And this is improv in action. I had questions, threw them out the window.
Yeah.
This is more important.
I can't even believe it. It's so wild. But thank you. You're lovely. And this is amazing space. Yeah. I think I can't imagine once it's like really live. I'm just waiting for that very first coaching session to happen because of this app, and to feel like this field, I feel like the world needs it. And the thing that keeps me going a lot is thinking like, yeah, we're doing this for a larger purpose. It's to bring more kindness and empathy. And I aspire to be a better leader. I aspire to be a better human. And I think one of the things I'm really reminded of is Laura Whitworth. I took a leadership program with her. She's one of the founders of the ICF. And there was one thing that stood out to me, and what, among others, but there's one thing in particular, and it's this idea. She gave this really impassioned speech where she said, look, you get yourself in trouble when you think like, I am good at whatever that is. And I mean, what she's really speaking to is the idea of a fixed mindset, where people say, I'm good at this, then, opens up defensiveness and all those kinds of things. But the idea is like aspire, like when you aspire to, yeah, okay, I might be good at this, but I aspire to be better. It's that word aspire, which opens us up to continual growth. And it keeps us in that growth mindset. And so, yeah, like I aspire to be a better human. I aspire to be a better leader. I aspire to be a better, you fill in the gap, you fill in the blank. And yeah, that's what I'm reminded of pretty heavily right now. So thank you. Thank you for the space and all of it.
Thank you, John. I want to acknowledge you. You deserve this, all of your hard work. And I would say today has been both aspirational and inspirational. So thank you to you, and thank you to the listeners.
Oh, thank you. Take care. See you.
See you soon.